Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the channel. It's Cynicalex, and today I'm bringing you 5 Gambit clears of extremely high level World Boss Ultimate to show you once and for all that he can clear all 5 stages, because I said that and I was partially going off of, boom, I died. I know, stage 50, that was brutal. I was partially going off of information that I was given, not first-hand attempts, so I wanted to get those 5 attempts in for you guys. I wanted to get those 5 confirmed kills for you guys, so that you can see just how insane it is, and so that if you pull a Gambit from a premium box, or you happen to invest in the sub, the X-Gene sub, you won't be disappointed. That was a heartbreaking stage 50 death. I actually didn't die, I just ran out of time. So he absolutely 100% can clear stage 50. But this right now is the very first clear. This is a full stage 49 clear, and yeah, you guys can give me shit for not clearing stage 50. I know 49 is not nearly as sexy as 50, and in general I will say that it makes more sense to do the lowest stage of a newer tier. So it makes more sense to do stage 40 than stage 42 or 43. Of course, you always get more raid XP if you do higher stages, but the legendary box is the same, and actually the brackets for the rewards in terms of the minimum and maximum amount of CCF, dimension debris, dimension or Titan component packs, all that stuff, the min-max numbers, let's say 8 to 15, are the same whether you're doing stage 40 or stage 49. So keep that in mind. It's pretty inefficient to do stage 49 versus stage 50, but I just wanted to get it done, and I wasn't super confident that I would be able to do stage 50 again, so I went ahead and settled for stage 49. But using the word settled is not really accurate. This is by far the most difficult stage that I had to do out of the 5. And honestly, this stage is a little bit easier or a little bit harder depending on how often Scarlet Witch, and then also Sharon Rogers, or not Sharon Rogers, sorry, Luna Snow and Psylocke will mind control. If they mind control a lot, as you see right now, it does make it quite a bit easier for Gambit, because you can get some of those 4th skills in, you can get some of those 2nd skills in to do a bit of extra damage. But if not, then it is a little bit harder. But because of the all defense down, you're able to get around the elemental damage requirement. I guess the elemental defense that he has is tied to his all defense. So as Gambit, when you lower his defense by using the 5th skill, it allows you to do enough damage, even though you're not doing elemental damage, to actually hurt him in a way that actually moves his bar far enough to get the kills in. And even complete the stage. That was kind of a bad play here, but yeah, the stage has a lot of environmental hazards, so you have to pay very close attention to that. But I find that it's harder to complete the stage if you can't see Ebony Maw. So what you'll see me doing a lot of the times is I'll run away from him using my 3rd skill, but then I'll circle right back, because I want to see what he's doing to know what he'll do next. When he raises his hands up and things like that, he gives you visual cues on what he'll do next. And it gives you a better chance to dodge or appropriately iframe in time. And if you can't see him, if he's off screen, it's more of a surprise, and that's when he can catch you with those penetrating purple meteors and things like that. But you definitely still need, of course, a super amazing build on Gambit, no doubt. You also do need amazing strikers like the ones that I have. Although Deadpool doesn't deal elemental damage, this is really close too. Although he doesn't deal elemental damage, he applies all defense down on his 3rd skill, so that will also help you to deal more damage and to stack that all defense debuff further and further. And the all defense buff, I believe, also allows your strikers to do more damage. So imagine having Gambit's 5th skill 30% or 60% all defense down, and then having Scarlet just by chance activate her 4th skill and hit that mind damage with the mind control. That would kind of be the ideal situation. If you could control your strikers, imagine that shit. That would be wild. You could pull off some really seriously crazy combos. The other nice thing that I wasn't able to showcase in this video, but it's absolutely possible, is the range on Gambit's 5th skill. He can hit Ebony Maw from outside of those 5 circles that Ebony Maw throws on the ground. Those 5 black circles that fear you, and they do damage over time. He can definitely hit from outside that. So the boy has insane range, and he's super fun to play with, as I've illustrated so many times. I really wish everyone could play as him. So, you know, I'm not saying go out and buy an X-Gene sub, but yeah, you know, if you can steal your mom or dad's credit card, it's the new year, it's 2019. You're probably, all your sins have been forgiven. Mommy and daddy, you know, don't remember that you, I don't know, what do kids do these days to get in trouble? I don't know, you sold your sister's V-Bucks. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, if you're a youngin', if you're a free-to-play pleb, try to get some money. Try to get a Gambit in your life. You will not be disappointed. Although I do still tell people to get Ghost Panther first. That is kind of a bit of a contradiction on my point. If you need, you know, just the pure support, obviously Ghost Panther is better than Gambit. But man, is Gambit amazing as a standalone character. That was really dumb. That was a really dumb moment. I just wanted to give a little bit more epicness to the end of this fight. And you just look at these last 10 seconds. There's chaos everywhere. I'm missing my damage procs. I'm trying desperately not to lose the fight because I have the horror of the last attempt where I lost in I got timed out. So at that point I was just panicking. But the first one is down, didn't get any CCF, got a decent amount of raid XP, and that is 49 ebony. This is 50 Corvus. Now this is a clear, but surprise surprise, I do finish with quite a bit of time left, and as you can see from the actual damage that I'm doing, about half a bar per rotation, the damage is insane. Now, people will instantly say, oh, Cynicalex, this was too easy, you could have done a higher stage. Absolutely, I could have done a higher stage. I think Gambit can probably do 55 Corvus, not comfortably, but he can do it with the challenge. However, the thing is that Gambit is very weak defensively. Obviously, you guys know he's like paper towel, but also with the bleed effect, basically almost any hit from Corvus will kill you. You're not going to be able to heal the health back unless you're insanely lucky, and Anti-Venom has dropped heals. As you can see, I have Anti-Venom on the team for the heals. I only need one leadership for Ignore Dodge because of his... wow, that was so dumb. Because of Gambit's own leadership, but we do have double support, so it does, you know, reduce the damage incoming by 55%, I believe. 55 or 65%, which is really, really nice. But still... he one-shots. So that's kind of the reason why I don't go a little bit higher. I could definitely go a little bit higher on Corvus. I could possibly go a little bit higher on Thanos or Cull Obsidian. But it's really about the reasonable nature of the fight. It's unreasonable to expect that you're going to play and not get hit at all. Getting hit once or twice per fight is almost a guarantee. There's so much going on. You're fighting for 3 or 4 minutes straight. It's almost impossible not to get hit at least once. And if you're fighting against an opponent that is literally going to one-shot you no matter what they do, it's extremely frustrating, and it's almost just like not worth it. What's the point? If you guys are impressed with a stage 50 Corvus clear, you're going to be, or if you guys are impressed by a stage 55 Corvus clear, you're going to be impressed by a stage 50 Corvus clear. I don't think you guys are that bougie to be, you know, kind of all upset about it. So this fight is reasonably, or I would say compared to the, that was so unlucky. Compared to the Ebony Maw fight, this one is quite a bit easier. But it still has its difficulties when you're dodging the tornadoes and the time freeze in order to not get trapped in a kind of awkward situation. But again, the mind control from Scarlet Witch is basically a must-have for all of these clears. I think without it, Thanos is probably the only one that you can do without the mind control from Scarlet Witch, because you don't get the mind control for the second half of the fight anyways. And honestly, the second half of the fight against Thanos from 11 bars down is where the fun begins. That's where Anakin Skywalker would get his boner on, and that is absolutely where the difficulty of that fight, if not Ebony Maw, the second half of the Thanos fight is probably one of the hardest for any character, but especially for Gambit, because his all defense down doesn't work. That was a dumb little moment there. I missed there. I also risked it. I could have absolutely died. I don't know what the hell happened there. I actually should have died. It would have made the clear a little bit cheesier because I wouldn't have finished with Gambit, but fuck that. I won. I got it. We got it. And that is a stage 50 Corvus clear. Still no CCF, though. Rip me and my awful ass luck. This, on the other hand, is his wife, Proxima Midnight, and this is a stage 40 fucking. This is a nice clear. Now this one is, I know I already said Ebony is hard and I said Thanos is hard, but this one is really hard. This one is really hard because Proxima likes to go at range. She likes to back up, and she likes to either jump forward or jump back. And that really does screw with Gambit, because Gambit relies on the iframes from his 4th skill to use that, right? So if you know where the enemy is, if they're not really moving around a lot, if they're kind of staying at the same distance, relatively speaking, if they're just moving side to side, then it's easier for you to time your 4th skill. But with Proxima, sometimes she jumps right next to you. If she jumps right next to you, guess what? Your 4th skill iframe, instead of lasting 1 second, it lasts 0.1 second, and then you die. Additionally, because you're using a lot of directional skills, like 4 and 3 and 5, which leave you, I mean, they don't leave you, but they still put you in front of the enemy. They don't move you laterally through the enemy too much. Because of that, I had to switch here. But because of that, I find that Gambit ends up in front of Proxima a lot. And so if you get unlucky and she's throwing one of her spears, or she's doing the multi-spear attack that she likes to do in the first phase, you absolutely can get one shot, and that is super nasty. There I had to use the 3rd skill defensively to dodge the time freeze. I probably would have died if I didn't dodge the time freeze. But this is absolutely one of those kind of like balancing a knife on your nose type of fights. You can absolutely kill her, and it's not too difficult if she's mind controlled or if she's kind of distracted. But any mistake that you make, if you get hit, that was a huge mistake. I absolutely see she jumped in. She would have killed me. That would have been the one shot. I would have died. The only reason I didn't die, I just got super lucky. A half second, a quarter second slower, and I would have been completely, you know, dunkaroos on that one. But I survived. Praise be to Blurp. So now we just gotta grind her down, and the damage is good. And again, like Ebony, Proxima does have a energy defense modifier, which makes energy damage worse against her. It's not an elemental defense modifier, but it is an energy damage modifier. And so generally energy damage characters are worse. Like Sharon Rogers has a really hard time doing this stage. I don't even know if she can do stage 40. Now Scarlet Witch can do stage 40 because her mind damage is elemental, I believe, and because she has mind damage or mind defense down, and of course the most important thing is the mind control. She can keep Proxima mind controlled for the entire fight, so it's a little bit easier when you have 5 minutes of uninterrupted DPS versus characters who have to, you know, spend possibly 30 seconds to a minute of the fight just dodging and watching animations and stuff like that. Additionally, you get a lot of extra striker damage because you're constantly plowing the enemy with attacks with Scarlet, and so you get all those DP hits, you get all those tier 3 Sharon Rogers or tier 3 Captain America hits. But that is a difficult but doable stage 40 Proxima. Still, for the love of God, no CCF. I don't know who I have to sacrifice to what to get CCF, but this is Cull Obsidian. Stage 40, again, we're going to finish with about 2 minutes left, I believe. But the crazy thing about Cull Obsidian and the crazy thing about raid level and the kind of recommended raid level, when you're already under the recommended amount, let's say I have 1500 raid score and it's asking for 1700. If you go up too many levels, the defense and the damage reduction that you receive a damage penalty, and the defense up that the enemy receives is so severe that it kind of multiplies. So the example I have is this stage. He can do this stage with about 2 minutes left. He actually can't do stage 43. I believe it's 43 or 44. So he's literally a couple of stages away from his absolute maximum. You run out of time on stage 30, 43 or 44 using this exact same team and using the same kind of aggressive attacks. Now you will notice that I'm not using Shuri this time around. I'm using Ghost, so technically he could go further if I also used Shuri, but in this case I'm showing you that he can do this with only one support. Now Ghost does provide a 20% energy attack boost at tier 2 with the uniform. Not enough of a reason to buy her unless you're super into ABX. But it's definitely not as good of a buff as Shuri's buff, which I probably should have used, but I didn't want to. Either I didn't want to because I can do it with this one and I feel like it's more impressive because it's better for one-shot potential. You have less defense, so you have to play even more carefully, or I may have already used Shuri accidentally for another clear. But honestly, guys, having White Tiger now is, or White Fox tier 2 is so nice because having 6 supports means that I can always play one of my 5 battles using 2 support characters. I don't know about you guys, but I would like more support characters On the one hand, I feel like they get their respect in the game because they're always being used. On the other hand, they're usually not that strong as standalone characters like Valkyrie or Coulson, so nobody plays them as standalone characters. Like, nobody's saying, you know, I really want to play World Boss Corvus as Shuri. Why would you play as Shuri when you could just use Shuri to boost up a better speed type character like Winter Soldier or Quicksilver? And so I kind of feel bad for support characters on that hand. But then on the other hand, it's like, damn, I would love like 4 more support characters, make 2 or 3 of them free to play friendly, and allow you to use 2 supports on every single world boss fight. Or if they boosted it to 10 world bosses per day, hell yeah. I also can't wait to see, this is kind of a future predictive moment, how will Gambit do against the other World Boss Ultimates? How will Gambit do against Supergiant World Boss Ultimate if she ever gets that, ever? How will he do against the Quicksilver, Scarlet Witch, and Cable, and Apocalypse World Boss Ultimates? But that is about 2 minutes and 20 second clear of stage 40. No books, no CCF, no World Boss booty boxes. No booty boxes, guys. Jeez, it's the worst. But this is stage 25 Thanos. I've unlocked up to stage 29, but I can't really clear it up to stage 29 with Gambit, as you will see, because the fight doesn't really start until you get down to stage or down to 11 bars. This part is super easy because he doesn't have debuff removal, so you can stack the all defense down and just completely melt this stupid little grape. Once he gets that flashing feather active all the time, that's when you start to cry, and you'll see that Gambit's damage completely nosedives. So this is we're gonna get down to 11 bars really quick here, and you'll see that it's gonna take probably about 50-55 seconds to get down there. Yeah, it looks like, yeah, 410. So it took 50 seconds, guys, to kill 9 bars. Do you think it's gonna take 50 seconds to clear the last 9 bars? Oh, hell no. I mean, I wish it did. If Thanos didn't have that debuff immunity, he would be one of the easiest World Boss Ultimates in the game. He'd probably be the easiest one next to Corvus, because you could just mind control him, and his defenses aren't as high as Cull Obsidian's. His HP is not as high as Cull Obsidian's, so, you know, it would be... Maybe his defense is as high, but I don't think his HP is as high. Because... Oh, wait, but he starts at 20 bars. I don't know. Cull Obsidian starts at 17 bars, but his defense feels like it's way too high. But I am comparing stage 40 to stage 25, so that is kind of unfair. Alright, I take that back. Maybe Thanos would still be the most difficult world boss, but I feel as though this is way harder because now you can't stack the all defense. So we're already a minute after that clear, and we only went down, what, 3 bars? So that's a huge change. 9 bars versus 3. That's a third of the damage. Wow, I just did good math. Good shit. Maybe that's the secret. I just can't turn on the camera ever. But yeah, so the Thanos fight is particularly difficult. The good thing about Gambit is he doesn't create a lot of effects, so you can see what Thanos is doing. A lot of other characters, their 5th skill, have these crazy wild effects, and it really clutters up the screen. Gambit's is just a bunch of glowing cards. I mean, there's a lot of glowing cards, don't get me wrong, but it's pretty easy to see through them and to see and keep track of Thanos as long as you can ignore that pink kind of burst that appears. Here we just play a little patty cake, a little keep away, and keep grinding out the damage. But I was doing about 1 bar to 2 bars when the all debuff or the debuff removal was not active. Now we're down to half a bar. So the damage is completely neutered by comparison, and that's why going up stages to 29 or whatever makes it extremely difficult. It's this second half of the fight that is actually really hard. You can't make any mistakes because it'll kill you, and you also have to kill him before the time runs out. So it's absolutely a difficult fight, but the fact that Gambit can do all 5 world bosses without extraordinary, I mean, it's pretty extraordinary team-ups with double support, but still, the fact that he can do all 5 is definitely something unique. And if you guys know any other characters that can do all 5, let me know. I mean, Scarlet can come pretty close, so that is something to... Actually, she can do all 5. Not as high as Gambit, but she can do all 5 as well. Proxima's a little bit worse, but besides that, what other... And that was really lucky, because who's going to do the Meteor? So that is 5 Gambit World Boss Ultimate clears at very high stages. We finally got some additional rewards, but it's honestly not much. Let me know what you guys think of the clears. Subscribe if you enjoy the content and you want to support me. And of course, if you like what you see, I hope to see you again tomorrow. Take care.